football in this town, but now it's here. College Game Day was here this morning. And let's listen, this program is less than 18 years old. This very field right here used to be the Conway High School football field. When they came out to break ground for Brooks Stadium, named for the founder of Hooters, it was covered in wild watermelons. They had to clear those out. That's where they were less than 2 decades ago, and now they're hosting this game on this night. It's a great story, but more importantly, it's going to be great college football.
That it will be. And we've got two of college football's most efficient quarterbacks and brightest stars on display tonight.
And Zach Wilson has really come on the scene the last 9 weeks in the Heisman conversation. Talk about efficiency. This guy is third all-time in FBS this season.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Grayson McCall is the quarterback that you're going to get to see tonight on a national level. He's from suburban Charlotte, and what a season he's having. 20 touchdowns, just 1 interception for this young man.
And Billy, nobody thought that he would be the starting quarterback coming into the season. He was out for 26 days with some COVID contact tracing. He spent all that time in the film room learning how to run this spread option attack. Shows up for camp. Here we are.
Not just the quarterbacks tonight. A young man for BYU who has had a great story himself is Tyler Algier, the sophomore.
I know a lot of people just think that this is going to be the Wilson show tonight. Not so fast, my friend. This guy Algier is terrific. They've got 29 touchdowns on the season. And you think about the defense of Coastal Carolina, they were gashed against Louisiana earlier this season, so that's an opportunity for the Cougars to take advantage.
Yeah, and that's why it's really important to focus on a couple of guys up front for the Coastal Carolina defensive front. Let's start with Teron Jackson. He's a senior from Macon, South Carolina, getting some NFL looks.
Humble, best player on the team, just got invited to the Senior Bowl on Wednesday. Keep an eye on number 9. He is, has been unblockable in the Sun Belt. A little bit different, I think, tonight.
On the other side of that defensive line is a 5th-year senior from Bowdoin, Georgia by the name of C.J. Brewer, who was dynamite here in their last game against App State.
Nobody talked about him coming into the season. He really kind of rededicated himself to the team, bought into the program for this year, and now he's bringing other guys along like Gerard Clark.
For BYU, this is a guy that we have to watch tonight. There's no question about it, because Troy Warner is a guy that has played a lot of football.
He has his older brother, a great linebacker in the National Football League with the Niners. He's a captain, kind of embodies what BYU wants to be on defense.
That defense will face one of the most unique offenses in college football, the triple option RPO of Coastal Carolina. 2 undefeateds, college football primetime, coming up next. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. BYU and Coastal Carolina. It's a blind date, right? They didn't know they were going out on Saturday night till just Thursday. Let's take a look at our coaches, and everyone in Utah and BYU Nation knows all about Kalani Sitake, the former BYU fullback who's in his 5th season as head coach. So excited that his team gets a chance to play. They just wanted to play somebody. He said, I don't care who, I don't care where, let's go to Conway.
You have to have a team that's together to be able to pull this off this quickly. And they are. They're having a terrific season.
On the other side, yes, sure is. 43-year-old Jamie Chadwell, 3rd year as head coach of the Chanticleers. Tennessee native, was a QB and team captain at East Tennessee State. What a job he has done. Biggest game in Coastal history. It has been a crazy season. It has been an unbelievably wild week for these coaches, for these players. Who thought we'd be here? Who thought we'd have this matchup? That's what we've got tonight.
It was a little wild when we got to Myrtle Beach, Billy, finding out that this is going to be the opponents on Saturday. College Game Day coming to town. Got some fans here. There's a lot of atmosphere in the building. This is awesome. This is what college football is all about.
BYU won the toss and deferred to the second half. Jake Orroyd will kick things off for BYU. Shamar Jones is deep for Coastal Carolina. Here we go. BYU and Coastal Carolina under the lights, and we'll start things off with a touchdown. And that gives us a chance to see, after some scuffle breaks out in the middle of the field, that they're ready to play. That's for sure. No, but Dustin, tell us about this offense. What are we going to see tonight? Everybody around the country is going, all right, Coastal Carolina unbeaten. They've got this quarterback with incredible stats. What are they doing offensively with Grayson?
So a lot of people think this is like a triple option attack. This is not Army. This is not Navy. This is different. Okay, this is Jamie Chadwell's baby. They call it a spread option. And with their quarterback, Grayson McCall, what they'll do is a lot of misdirection, which you see in triple option, but a lot more passes with McCall. Who's got a heck of an arm and a lot of talented weapons on the outside.
Just a freshman, 20 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. They'll start from the 25-yard line. It is the first ever meeting between these two teams, and they run the option on first down, and this is Marable. That's what that young man can do. Turns the corner and gets first down yardage on the very first play of the game.
Marable's kind of like a bowling ball at 200 pounds, but he's got that 4.4 speed. And you always wonder, what's this team going to look like against BYU? They've got a lot of team speed on defense. Marable could play at a place like BYU. He's got a ton of speed.
A first-team All-Big South player before. Now 1st and 10 from the 38. McCall hands it off again. And that's the BYU run defense that Cougar fans know all about. This is a really hard defense to run against.
It's hard because they're sound. What I mean by that is they just always stay in their gaps. They run the right lanes, and they run to the football, Bill. That's one thing that you see. When we talked with the Coastal Carolina staff, they were so impressed with the way the Cougars get to the football, and they get there fast.
Did get almost 3 yards on the play. Opening drive of the game. Coastal in all black. BYU in those really good looking. It almost looks like 1984 out there, doesn't it? McCall's first pass of the game. That's incomplete, and there is a flag on the play as well. Sam Dunkirk was the intended receiver.
It's going to be a hold on the left side. I think they're going to get Trey Carter.
Our referee tonight is Kyle Olson. He's asking the BYU bench about the call.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
This is the toughest defensive line, clearly, the Coastal has seen all year.
It's going to be back here. 63 right there. It's a little bit too much on him.
I mean, Jamie Chadwell told us, Tonga's gigantic up front. Albacri is huge.
When Tonga turns it on, this guy's legit. When you talk about guys that are dudes, Tonga's one of those dudes.
So it'll be 2nd and 17 now for Grayson McCall. Fake short, taking a deep shot. And he overthrows his intended receiver coming down the right sideline. That's Javon Hiley. He is the top receiver.
Billy had him. He had Hiley. He was working against Isaiah Heron on the right side. It was a double move. Maybe a little bit of nerves here early for Grayson McCall in the biggest game of his career. That's a ball he typically hits. And 3rd and 17. We're looking at a draw. They're really good in the screen game too, by the way. This would be a perfect opportunity for that.
They need to get to the 48. McCall going to try to run. Lost his helmet and goes down on the 38-yard line. No flag on the play. The home fans here. By the way, the attendance is limited to 5,000. Let's take a look.
So he starts his slide. So right there, he's giving himself up. Coastal fans think that was a little bit too aggressive. I thought it was close. Not a terrible start for Coastal. They got a couple nice gains on the ground, but the penalty, you've got to be disciplined. This is one of the best teams in all of college football. Talking about Coastal in terms of penalties, they are very disciplined. They do not beat themselves.
Overson line drives the punt off the side of his foot, but gets a great roll. It's going to skip inside the 15-yard line and goes all the way inside the 10, and that is where BYU will take over for its first possession, led by one of America's most impressive quarterbacks, Zach Wilson.
This guy does everything well. He's efficient, 26 touchdowns, just 2 picks. How about his deep throw ability, the touch, the accuracy? He got so much better this offseason with that pushing the ball down the field, a little bit more accuracy, and he can also run too. 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. This is a huge challenge for the Chanticleers.
BYU has scored on its first possession 4 games in a row. And Wilson going to throw it on first down. And he completes it to the 22-yard line. And that's what BYU can do. And a chance for a big play. There is a flag on the play. Pau taking it all the way. And it goes as a 91-yard score. However, there is a flag on the play right near the goal line.
Unfortunately, this is going to come back for the Cougars. Isaac Rex, number 83.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty, half the distance from the previous spot, remains first down.
So we talked about the defensive front. They were able to get some heat.
Watch right here. 83 at the end of the play. It's going to be a blitz off the edge. It's going to tackle him. Right there, that's an easy call. That's a costly penalty.
It takes a long touchdown off the board, and it moves the ball half the distance to the goal, and it'll move it to the 4.5-yard line. Wilson on first down. Algier squares the shoulders, gets ahead across the 10-yard line and down to the 11. Algier has a really interesting story as well. Such an athletic player for them.
He was a really good running back 2 years ago, but last season, Tyson Williams transfers in from South Carolina, takes over the starting job. They actually put Algier back on defense as a linebacker. He started a bunch of games for the Cougars.
And this year, Dustin, he's averaging 7.2 yards a rush. Here's a quick pass to the right sideline, and it's over the head of Gunnar Romney. And it'll bring up a third down.
That's a typical miss. Not a typical miss, I should say, by Wilson. It's the first time he's seen a real pass rush from the Chanticleers. So big down here. We'll see what defensive coordinator Chad Staggs can dial up. I think you have to bring pressure. Wilson has really not been touched this year. You try to get a quarterback off his spot, make him uncomfortable. It's a perfect chance for the Chants to bring pressure.
Algier lines up off his right shoulder. They got the tight end Rex, and it's a slot receiver. First down and more. What a heady play for Zach Wilson. Was that a designed run the whole way?
I think it was a little bit of an option, speed option off to the right. Could have pitched it off to Algier, but decides to take off. Now he's got to get down. You can't take that hit. That's what we talk about. His issues in the past have been the injuries, the shoulder and the thumb.
Under a heavy rush again, and that ball thrown incomplete, intended for Milne. The story early, at least somewhat maybe surprising to some people, is how the Coastal defensive front is getting in the backfield.
I'm not surprised by it because I know how good these guys are. I was interested to see how they match up against the Cougars' big, physical, athletic offensive line. But when we chatted with Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator at BYU, he said these are some dudes on Coastal. So we were a little bit concerned about that front.
Algier takes this handoff, gets ahead across the 34, and gets ahead to the 35-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 4 now for BYU. All week long, players on both teams said, we just want to play.
Right? Well, doesn't this just feel like a backyard football game? Where you're like, hey, call up your buddies, we'll meet you at the park, we'll set up our flip-flops as pylons, and we'll play ball. It's kind of what they're doing here at the beach.
They didn't have a lot of the game prep. They didn't have a lot of time to study film. This game didn't get officially scheduled till Thursday. 3rd down. Algier has a hole, and he's got the first down across the 40. So early, Tyler Algier has been solid on the ground for BYU.
Really good job by the offensive line getting the push. They changed their running attack, their running style this offseason. They moved from an inside zone team to primarily a wide zone team. And the reason is they've got too many athletes on that offensive line. You want to get those guys in space, and you've got running backs who can hit those holes like Algier.
Algier's run 3 carries for 21 yards. Out to the 43. Wilson, a heavy rush again. Gets away from the first rusher, then flips it. Incomplete. It might have been picked.
Oh my goodness.
He tried to flip it to Katoa.
What a dangerous throw.
It's incomplete.
Nearly sacked in the backfield. Look at the pursuit of Teron Jackson. Doesn't give up on the play. Just tries to flip it off to Katoa.
Spillum almost.
Oh, Spillum had
the pick.
That was like the old Brandon Whedon flip.
On the ground again. And Katoa gets just shy of midfield to the 48-yard line. They've converted 2 third downs on this drive. This is going to be 3rd and 5 again.
You know, both of these teams are very consistent, methodical, if you will. Bigger plays, of course, for BYU, but both teams have been so good on 3rd down. Time of possession may be key in this ball game.
Well, one thing that I think a lot of folks are probably surprised about is these teams don't have a lot of high possession games.
They don't. I mean, you talk about like Army, Navy, those teams average 10 possessions a game. These teams average 11, to put it in perspective.
Katoa on 3rd down gets knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. Coastal Carolina really good against the run, and Teddy Gallagher comes up, the young man from Los Angeles, brings down the BYU tailback.
Watch him shoot his gap right here in the middle to get Katoa on the ground. The Mullets have made their presence early in the game.
Meanwhile, Teron Jackson on the play, shaken up. As you can tell, this is the key defensive end for Coastal Carolina.
He's kind of the alpha of that defense, the staff says.
He's had 25 sacks in his career. So while they look at the senior defensive end, we'll step aside in Conway. Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. We'll have the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff. Top 25 rankings. Recently, guys will break it down from top to bottom. We'll have a live interview with committee chairman Gary Barta, who I imagine is tuned in tonight, watching BYU and Coastal. First punt of the day for BYU. And it's going to land inside the 5. And it's deflected, and the Coastal player tried to run ahead with it, which I guess he could do, right? Ahead to the 6. You know, all year long we've talked about Coastal's like, well, they are America's team. I can tell you this, nobody's having more fun playing football this year than the Chanticleers.
There's nothing more American about Myrtle Beach. And then you add in teal turf, a Chanticleer, mullets, and wrestling. Are you kidding me? The celebrations these teams have, or this team has after the games, they change them every single week. It is so much fun to watch this team.
Yeah, guys, listen, this is a Sun Belt team, but they're America's team, and I know this because old Marty McGee on the SEC network, we've had all these guys on the show, and no one at the SEC has complained. That just tells you that everyone loves these dudes, and I think it's about the mullets.
Ball is on the 6 for America's team, and Grayson McCall. Thrown out of his end zone and delivers it on the money to Hiley, then he can't hang on. BYU secondary is solid. They're going to hit you after the catch.
Yeah, Hiley sits down. They play a lot of zone coverage. Watch.
There's Heron.
11.
Yes.
Heron comes in there.
Isaiah Heron,
the football out. See, he's open. Right there, he's open. Got to deliver that. Step into it. Good play by the Cougars.
McCall fakes the handoff, quick throw to the left sideline. That's his first completion of the game, and it's going out for the first down. Cameron Brown, who's out of Graniteville, South Carolina, gets his tippy toe in.
To get that right foot down, yes he does, right there. It's a tough throw on the run, a little bit high, but great job by Cam Brown coming up with that one. Cam played with Charleston Southern back in the day when Jamie was there.
It's under video review.
I think that was pretty clear. He got it in. Maybe his heel came down on the line.
They'll review the play. We'll step aside. Back to Conway in a moment.
ESPN College Football is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville, and in part by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Good time to be a Chanticleer, huh? Dustin Johnson, Masters champ. Soccer team wins the league title. Coastal's already clinched the Eastern Division. In the Sun Belt Conference, they had game day here today, and now here's BYU. All right, they went back and reviewed Cameron Brown, Dustin, and they said, yeah, it's a catch.
They were maybe making sure that he had possession of the ball through the catch, I should say. Clearly a good job by Cam Brown.
So it moves it to the 20-yard line. How hard is it to prepare a defense to face this offense on just a couple days prep?
Impossible.
Marable gets the handoff that time and gets to the 25. Ordinarily, you'd be trading film, right? Your GAs do the cut-ups. They get the cards ready. That's like on Sunday.
My goodness.
Or even during the offseason.
Prep for this? I mean, they still put their game plan in. But the good news is for BYU, they play a pretty base defense. They kind of play quarters, cover two, a lot of zone. They'll play some man at times, but they trust their guys up front, their big 4 defensive linemen, to get the job done.
So you do that so that you don't give up the big play? Is that why you do that?
I just think you have to focus on your fundamentals.
Here's the option pitch to Marable, tries to turn the corner. He's got some pretty good speed as well. You know, he's 200 pounds, but well, he's carried the ball a lot. He's a senior and a very veteran guy. Not going to be phased by anyone.
No, and outside of Grayson McCall, CJ Marable is going to be the next most impactful player for this offense. They want to get him 20 touches of the football every single game, whether it's through the air, out of the backfield, or on the ground.
And what they like about him, his production is good. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. Doesn't put it on the ground.
14 all-purpose touchdowns this year.
Give it to him again. And that time he's tripped up. I think that was Peyton Wilger that got a hand on his ankle coming by. Marable, one of the team leaders on this team, very popular among the Chanticleers.
Look at the pace that Coastal Carolina plays with. They take their time. They want to be methodical in their drives. They want to try and keep Zach Wilson off the field.
McCall on 2nd and 8. Good pocket that time, and this time he throws it to Marable. He runs across the 40-yard line. Not only does he excel as a running back and on the option, but he's a good receiver as well. That was Kafusi that brought him down, the Rover.
I think a start for this Chanticleer football team, defensively and offensively. I was kind of worried if you're a Chant fan coming to the game, they could get boat race pretty quick early because just BYU comes in, it's got all the cachet. They've got tons of athletes. They've held up early.
Let's see if they can convert a 3rd and 1. BYU says, ooh, it's going to be close. I think he got it. He did. So that offensive line, it's not the biggest O-line, but they are a tough bunch in there.
Watch 51. That's Sam Thompson. What a great block by him.
Tonga ended up making the tackle. Under 6 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter. Jones again, this time he gets ahead to the 47-yard line. All right, we talked a little bit earlier about how impressive Coastal's defensive line looked.
Yeah.
What do you think of the way their offensive line has performed so far?
They call them the Mighty Mites. You may laugh, but...
Well, the center, Sam Thompson, is 5'9".
Look at this. So Sam Thompson, I just mentioned him. He pulls in that last play, does a good job at a kick-out block. 5'9", 290. Tonga goes 6'4", 321. Just a huge difference there. Big gap.
Uh-oh, late pitch. And a tremendous job somehow for McCall on the move to pitch that football to Marable. Drew Jensen came over and finally made the play.
Boy, this is dangerous. Dangerous pitch here late in the down. Heron nearly comes in there and picks it off. Watch number 11. Late. But once he gets him on the perimeter, so Marable can do his damage.
So 3rd and 1. Once again,
this is where
on the plus side of the field now, Dustin.
Did he bring Reese White in? It's their big back.
He is their short yardage guy. He gets the ball now, and he has the first down. Ahead of the 41-yard line of BYU.
That was
Shamari Jones from Pensacola.
They wanted Jones to run with his pads lower. Didn't really have to right there. It was a good push by the offensive line. By the time Jones was touched, he already had the first down.
People might remember him if you ever watched the Last Chance U show. Remember that?
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
Shamari was part of that. He's proud to be at Coastal. He's even more proud of this. He's got a 4.0 GPA here at Coastal Carolina. This is the 11th play of the drive. Remember, it started inside the 10-yard line. Now they're ahead of the 41. Keeping it on the ground again to Shamari Jones. And they're winning the battle up front. Pick up of 4 yards on first down.
And one of the other things that I was thinking about coming to this game, Bill, how much does the travel factor in for BYU? I know they pushed the game back to 5:30, give them a little more time to sleep last night, but that's a long trip, 2,200 miles from Provo here to Conway. That's a long trip to turn around and play a football game.
On 2nd and 6, they keep it on the ground again. They got a yard. Now, this is going to end up being a home-and-home series. The athletic directors got together on the phone for the first time on Thursday. They said, "You want to play?" And Tom Holman, the athletics director at BYU, said,
"Sure,
we'll come." There's no contract for this game, which is unusual to say the least in college football. But they decided at some point Coastal will return the game to BYU. They'll make the trip.
Grayson McCall time, 3rd down. This is where their money. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jamie Chadwell put it in the hands of Grayson McCall and let him run it.
There's the option pitch, and it's enough for the first down for Marable, who pinballs off the first tackler and runs ahead to the 23-yard line. C.J. Marable, the senior, bulldozing his way for another 3rd down conversion for Coastal Carolina.
It was a busted play, too. I think it was supposed to go off to the left side. McCall fakes it to the left, comes back to the right, and gets it out to Marable. Huge pickup on 3rd down.
3 straight 3rd down conversions for Coastal Carolina on this drive, and this now becomes the 14th play of this drive. They're eating up a lot of clock and a lot of real estate on this teal turf.
Chadwell said to us yesterday, time of possession matters to them.
McCall to put it in the air to the left sideline, and it is caught. Beautifully done over there by Likely. Somehow was able to haul it in, and that's a perfect example of the beautiful ball that Grayson McCall can throw.
Pretty throw on the outside. This was an unlikely catch by Likely. Now they want to get Likely involved early in the ball games because he's got an injury. He's been battling this foot, probably going to have a surgery after the season. It wears on him throughout the game, so they'd like to get him involved early in these ball games.
He had the big game here in his last outing against Appalachian State, the last outing on this field. He picked up 8 yards on that play. Somewhat of a sprint run. That'll be enough for the first down to the 12-yard line. Dustin, you talked before the game that it's going to be a low total number of possessions. The both teams average about 11 per game. This is just the 3rd possession of this game, and we're almost down to 1 minute to go in the opening quarter.
Possessions will be vital. Talked about like Army and Navy get 10 a game. They don't run that slow, but they're getting about 11.2 per game on average. So if one team gets ahead, gets a lead, kind of watch that as we go throughout the rest of the ball game.
McCall and the Chanticleers can get a first down near the 2. Sprint draw up the middle. Jones gets submarine down to the 5. Now you can see the confidence of this Coastal Carolina team, can't you?
Well, there's Reese White. That's the between the tackles guy. He's their physical middle runner. They've got really 3 talented tailbacks here, Billy, that can make a lot of plays for this offense.
Marable, Jones, and White are the 3. Marable back in now on 2nd and 3 from the 7. Final seconds of the opening quarter. McCall hands it off. Marable up the middle, takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Coastal Carolina.
That was an absolute big boy drive by the Chanticleers. I think they took it personal this week, Bill. Everybody's saying the Mighty Mites, they've got a center who's 5'9". We're going to push him around. So far, they're pushing the Cougars around.
They go the length of the teal turf for the game's first scores. Marble gets it in. Now Massimo Biscardi drills the extra point, and it's actually wide left. Biscardi misses it. He hit it well, but he kicks it wide to the left. It remains 6-0.
The teal turf. Little offensive line, no problem. Big boy drive for the Chanticleers.
Coastal Carolina scores first, the longest scoring drive in school history, Dustin. They go 94 yards for the touchdown, take 9 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock.
I'll tell you, that can wear out a defense, Bill. Coming all the way across country, going on the field for that many plays, 9 minutes. That is exhausting for a defense, let alone a team that had to fly, had to travel, had to go through all these crazy things this week.
Biscardi, who missed the extra point, by the way, that was his 4th career miss of a PAT, will kick the football back. BYU will get it on the kick return. This is Milne, or rather it's Christensen on the return, 15, and he gets ahead to the 23 and knocked out of bounds. All right, there's just 5 seconds left, so likely the final play of this first quarter. Very curious to see how BYU reacts.
They'll respond. Look who their quarterback is. They'll regroup. Going to play here, go to quarter break, and we'll see Zach Wilson kind of settle in here a little bit. He's excited. He said this was like Christmas morning when he found out they were going to be flying to Myrtle Beach.
They thought they had a long touchdown pass to Pau, but it was called back because of that holding penalty you'll recall on their first drive. Now they get it again. Final play of this quarter. Wilson, the pump fake and the run. Wilson showing what he can do with his legs, and he scoots out to the 35-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. 9-0 Coastal Carolina, 9-0 BYU under the lights, and the Chanticleers have the lead after 1.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
It is V Week, and I know it's important to so many of us and personal to
It is. My radio partner back in Cleveland, Adam, his wife Liz was just diagnosed with leukemia a couple weeks back, so we're thinking about her today, and always.
6-0 Coastal leads after 1 quarter. Those are statistics that Jamie Chadwell will take. They dominated time of possession in the yards in the opening quarter. BYU, second quarter. Let's see how the Cougars respond, and that's a good start. Powell has the catch and the first down on the plus side of the field on the quick slant from Wilson. Let's go down to the field once again. Here's Ryan McGee.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot to like about a touchdown drive that lasts 3.5 hours, like the one we just had. But what it really did was it bought Teron Jackson time. He was out of the tent about halfway through that drive and stretching through the second half of the drive. And then when there was a celebration for the touchdown, everybody said, don't jump on him, don't jump on him. But he's okay.
Teron's the terrific defensive end, number 9 in black. Algier runs up the middle. Howe moves forward ahead to the 42-yard line. So BYU's responding much like you thought they would.
Well, their offense got a lot of time on the sidelines to get their breather. The push from that big offensive front. Really good cutback there by Algier on first down. There's a reason, Bill, that they want to keep Zach Wilson on the sidelines. He can score quick.
He goes up under center now. BYU is so multiple offensively, aren't they? Here's Algier, a huge hole up the middle. And Algier sprinting to the end zone. It's a 42-yard touchdown.
It's 56 right here. It's Clark Barrington. He's going to block down. And the cutback right there is beautiful by Algier to the house.
#12 touchdown of the year, and now Olroyd in. And this extra point is good. However, there is a flag on the play on the PAT. They're going to pick up the flag. No flag. BYU has the lead. 7-6 Cougars. BYU has its first lead of the night, 7-6. You know, Dustin, this has been such a crazy season for every college football coach, of course, but especially for Kalani Sitake and BYU. Look at the schedule. That's what they were supposed to play.
A little different now.
Yeah.
Watch how many games have to get moved.
That's what it looked like if you were a Cougar fan at the beginning of the season. And that's how it's turned out.
Honestly, it's pretty impressive they've been able to get 10 ball games in. I mean, for having almost everything canceled on the schedule. And Kalani's been talking about this. The Sun Belt, Conference USA, the American Conference, they're grateful that they were able to schedule some games.
Well, when they say anybody, anytime, anywhere, they mean it.
They do mean it.
And this week it's Myrtle Beach. Conway, South Carolina, just west of Myrtle Beach. Fair catch called for, and Coastal will get the ball. And I think we have a flag on the play again. We do. They won on the blue turf at Boise, and now they're trying to win on the teal turf in Conway. That is a rare combo.
Are they going to go to Eastern Michigan next and play on the gray turf?
They have gray, right? It's a Sun Belt crew, and here is the call from Mr. Olson. Well, half a call. BYU's going to have the option here. You know, they can make them re-kick, and that's what they're discussing. It's a penalty clearly here on Coastal on the return, even though the fair catch was called for by the return guy. You know, there's a third team involved in all of this tonight, and that is Liberty. The reason Game Day was here originally was that was going to be a matchup of top 20 teams.
And what a great year Liberty's had with Hugh Freeze.
They really wanted to play this game. It's a rivalry game, and Coach Freeze, we prepared for that game, to be quite honest, when we left.
Wearing the kick, personal foul, legal block below the waist, receiving team, number 12. That penalty is declined. First down.
Yeah, when we got on the plane to come here, we were assuming it was going to be Liberty.
We had our Liberty charts, our Coastal charts, ready to go. We did all our prep for both teams. We land in Myrtle. Phones are blowing up. We're getting tweets and texts and everything. Had to call our boy Tony Britt. Shout out to Tone. Got us a chart pretty quick. And here we go.
And it's been a great game so far. Now, the last time Coastal Carolina had the football, it took 9 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock and went 94 yards for the opening touchdown of the game. Now from the 25. And the BYU defensive front wins the battle that time. You know, when you take a look at Zach Daub, you can see how athletic he is and how they're so impressed with the way 99 plays.
Physical defensive end. All their guys, they all go 6'4", 270, 260 plus. They're athletic, they can run. This may be one of the most athletic BYU squads we've seen in the last decade, across the board.
Well, they've got a lot of guys who played a lot of football together, a lot of familiar names in white. 2nd and 9. McCall has room to run. McCall slides in at the 40. First down. Remember when you watch him play, he is just a freshman.
Watch the block by 17 here at the end. Just enough by Denmark. It's going to come in your screen from the left, right there. Pow! Allows McCall to get another 5 to 6 yards in that play. That's the extra element McCall brings to the table. He's not just a pocket quarterback. To run this option, you have to be able to do things like that in situations where you take off and go.
He's efficient with the ball. He's thrown just 1 interception all season long, which is remarkable for a team that throws as much as he does. Here's Marable popping it free. Ahead to the 42 for the first down. C.J. Marable scooting again on the teal turf. And here come the Chanticleers again.
Watch the pull around the backside. It's a convoy for Marable and a terrific tackle by 23 Zane Anderson that saves a touchdown.
That would have been a touchdown if Anderson doesn't bring him down. We move the ball to the 42-yard line.
That's not an easy tackle, by the way. An open field against a guy that physical, that fast.
He picked up 20 yards on the play. It was. Play signaled in from the sideline. Ball on the ground, a fumble, and it slipped right out of the hands of McCall after he pulled it out of Marable's belly. And BYU's got it. The game's first turnover. I think Tonga ended up falling on it, but Dustin, tell us what happened here. This might have been an unforced fumble.
It was. It happens right at the mesh point. The mesh right here. Tries to pull it out, and he just loses it. That's on McCall. Because when Marable comes through like that, he doesn't grab the ball. He waits for Grayson to leave it in there. He didn't. He tries to pull it back out. That's an unforced error by Grayson McCall for a guy that doesn't make many mistakes.
And Coach Chadwell talking with him there, and the game's first turnover gives BYU terrific field position on the 42, leading 7-6 early here in the second quarter. They give it to their terrific tailback, Algier, and he gets to the midfield stripe. When you watched Wilson on tape, what impressed you the most about him, Dustin? What stands out to you? His statistics are incredibly gaudy. You've watched him in person. Yeah. What are your impressions thus far?
Just his poise and his accuracy probably is one of his greatest strengths.
This is a trick play, a double pass. Powell caught it and was well defended downfield. I think he was going to try to throw it back to Isaac Rex, who was covered on the play and well defended by the guys in black.
They try to get Rex down the field. He was open for a second, but the terrific pursuit by, they call him the Black Swarm defense of the Chanticleers. They get there and don't allow the double pass to happen.
Alex Spillum again making the play. He's had a very solid first half. So 3rd and 4 now for BYU, and it's Captain Zach Wilson. He'll go out of the gun. And again, they're going to split Isaac Rex to the left, one of 3 receivers that side. They keep it on the ground, and the Chanticleers make the play shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 2. Well, it looked like a pass, and then they run it, and now it's 4th and 1.
If you're BYU in this territory, this is where you tell your offensive linemen, you're playing against the Sun Belt team.
We didn't come 2,200 yards to punt.
2,200 miles?
2,200 miles to punt.
Or yards.
Yeah.
No, this is where the big boys up front have to bow up. And it's a little close, but I could even see Zach Wilson, quarterback, sneaking.
There is the toss and the throw back to Wilson. A deep shot for Romney. Incomplete. Coastal Carolina will take over near midfield. Another double pass.
The Jordan Strong, who's tied for the lead in interceptions in all of FBS. Watch this. Never gives up on the play. Is right there. Doesn't bite on the double move. Chanticleers come up with a big stop on 4th down.
Ahead to the 46. So Coastal Carolina takes over now in BYU territory after the tremendous defensive play by Strong, and now Coastal Carolina trying to take advantage of the great field position. BYU can't take advantage of the turnover, go forward on 4th down, and fail. Now McCall to the air once again. That was nearly picked, but it's caught at the 40-yard line, and that'll be enough for the first down. Oh, Kaufusi, he was thinking, I've got 60 yards or so of teal turf in front of me. He just missed it, Dustin.
53 right there in the middle of your screen. He's going to drop right out there. That should be an interception. Nearly was, but the concentration, my goodness, of Isaiah Likely. That was a lucky play for the Chanticleers. I think if Kaufusi could have got his other hand up and get 2 hands, they have caught it.
Call to the air once again. First man's covered, so he gets out of there and throws it short once again to Brown. And he's got the first down.
How about the poise?
Right near it, actually a bit short.
How about the poise of McCall?
He always seems to know where to go. And Brown was not the primary receiver on this play.
It's the route on the outside. Just a little hitch. He kind of works his way in with the scramble drill, works his way back outside. That's what you're taught as a wide receiver. Then he tries to get the sticks. Well done.
Ahead of the 31-yard line, 2nd and 3 now for McCall. Marable again. Down to the 28-yard line. Peyton Wilger making the play. You know, they've converted 3rd downs, Dusty, but if you look at it, they've had a lot of 3rd downs just like this one, right?
33 or less. Those are the manageable downs. There's a reason why they're 55% in these situations. They're going to bring the big back in. Shamari Jones, number 5.
Likely goes in motion. He's the tight end on the right. Jones the carry. That's enough for the first down. So they don't have necessarily the big time back, but when you add up the numbers of Jones and Marable and White, it is impressive how they move the ball on the ground.
Marable's kind of the bell cow, but they do it by committee. See, Marable's got buck 19 carries, I should say, on the season. The 8 touchdowns, though, that's really good around the goal line.
They're a terrific red zone team. That is the biggest difference Coastal Carolina 2020 as opposed to last year. They weren't a good red zone team. McCall fakes the pitch, and he slides in. They got a great baseball program here, right? They won the College World Series. He's been watching the baseball guys on their slides, hasn't he?
Terrific baseball program. Watch here. Fakes Kaufusi out right there, 53. Kind of faked me out a little bit up here too. Really good job by carrying out that fake by McCall.
Remember, they had a clock-eating 9-minute drive the last time they had the ball, and here they come again. Marable up the middle, spins at the 10, tripped up there. It'll be first down and goal to go. Watch your center, 51.
Sam Thompson, he's going to come out here, pull, It's a good kick out block right there. Marable cuts right inside for the big gain. Sam Thompson.
He's my kind of center. All 5'9" of them in there, right?
I think 5'9" is generous, by the way.
First down and goal. Marable gets it ahead to the 7 or so. And Tonga brings him down there. You know, you keep looking up at the clock, and there's under 6 minutes to go in the first half.
This is the perfect game plan for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. You want to possess the football. You want to keep Zach Wilson on the sidelines, and that's exactly what they've done here for the majority of the first half.
9th play of the drive, 2 tight ends and 1 back. The roll for the quarterback, and he's going to step out near the 6. Well defended. Another example, though, Dustin. We've seen him all year long. McCall never forces a pass. He's only thrown 1 interception. No one was open. Step out of bounds.
And what's so rare about that, Billy, is freshmen make freshman mistakes. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't force the football back across his body over the middle. He knows when he gets outside the pocket. They give him designed, boots where he has those options where he can throw it away. Very, very smart kid.
And all Zach Wilson can do is look at the video board and watch. 3rd and goal from the 7. As we turn under 5 minutes in the first half, and Coastal is going to call a timeout here. That'll be their first. And we will step aside as well. Well, they are both unbeaten, and Coastal and BYU in a good one. Well, kick off your Week 13 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the app. This is going to be really cool, Dustin. Russell Wilson and Sue Bird, Seattle Superstars, they're going to interview each other tomorrow morning, which will be fun. Then our Week 13 Monday Night Football matchup, Josh Allen and the AFC East leading Bills taking on the Niners, still on the NFC playoff hunt, 5-6 after their big win against the Rams on Sunday. Bills and Niners Monday night.
I was watching that game. Mr. Troy Warner. We'll have some interest in that one. Big 3rd down coming up here for the Chants.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. Remember,
Hiley's right here in the slot. They haven't really got him too involved in the offense early. That's their top target down here.
And another timeout taken.
Timeout, BYU. Their first of the half.
So BYU calls its first timeout after Coastal called their timeout. So remember now, Coastal's trying to take advantage of the short field.
30-second timeout.
Coach Kataki went for it on 4th down on the double pass. That didn't work. And now here comes Coastal with a chance to take the lead. They've been so good in the red zone. In fact, 24 has kind of been the slogan this year for Coastal Carolina. What does 24 mean? Well, they were 24 points away from winning the Sun Belt last year. And they went back and looked at all their close losses, and they said, you know what? It was penalties, it was turnovers, and it was red zone offense. We kicked too many field goals last year. This year, thanks to guys like Hiley, who has been so good in the red zone, those two guys, it is highly likely that one of those 2 players will get thrown the ball in this situation, pun intended.
Yeah, Hiley is responsible for 30% of all catches in this offense. That's a lot.
Especially down here.
He's going to come in motion. Back to the same formation they had before the timeout. So they try to use a little of this window dressing to make you think a little bit in the back end as a defense.
McCall going to try to run for it.
The ball may have came out or he's short.
Didn't make it. Down to the 1. And it will be 4th and goal.
What an effort, though. Just about a yard short.
Al-Bakri and Kafusi brought him down.
That's not good, Billy.
And they're going to stop the game as McCall still shaken up. after he got hurt on the dive towards the goal line. So they'll tend to the injured quarterback. Back in a moment.
Timeout on the field.
So McCall appears to be okay. He will remain out for a snap. And I think they're going to go for this, Bill, which is not a big deal. Fred Payton comes in. He's played a lot of snaps in a lot of situations just like this.
He's from Suwanee, Georgia. Reese White is their power back. He's out of Sandy Spring, Georgia. He wears number 2. So McCall will miss this play. 4th down and goal for Coastal. The backup quarterback, Fred Payton. White dives across. Touchdown, Chanticleers.
The power, the push inside. Isaiah likely getting a push in there as well. And White's their big goal line runner. Just dives across. And I love the call by Jamie Chadwell because you're facing BYU. Okay, this is a highly ranked team, the biggest game you guys have ever played. You didn't come to this game to kick field goals.
Biscardi misfired on his first extra point. And he nails that one. And Coastal retakes the lead 13-7. BYU's had such a good rushing defense this year. Coastal's run for 159 in the first half. They lead 13-7.
The journey is on. The AT&T Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Monday, January 11th on ESPN.
Here is a look at the National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper, sitting outside the stadium here, right outside Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina, next to the Chanticleer.
The Shots are playing that big today. Goodness.
Well, Grayson McCall got shaken up, but he's had 2 really good drives back-to-back for Coastal.
He's tough as nails. That's what they love about this kid. You saw him try to use all of his body to get into the end zone on 3rd and goal.
Caleb Christensen going to bring it out from a yard deep. And Christensen crosses the 20, but there's a flag on the play behind Christensen, and this is going to come back a bit.
During the return, the lead block in the back, receiving team, number 52. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
Down to the field, Ryan McGee.
Guys, you know who really likes watching Grayson McCall? Is Zach Wilson. During those lengthy drives, I was behind the BYU bench, and he is locked in. Watching him, we learned yesterday, he's a quarterback junkie. He relaxed by watching film of Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. So he's watching a good one here today, too. He just said he likes to watch him play.
He likes watching all quarterbacks, not just the great ones in the NFL. He watches all the quarterbacks in college football, too. He always feels like he can learn something.
He connects with Dax Milne for a first down throw there. We spent about a half hour, 40 minutes on the phone yesterday with John Beck, the former NFL and BYU All-American quarterback, who's now an instructor at the 3D QB camp out in Huntington Beach, where Wilson and so many other great quarterbacks go all the time. And he said the same thing. He says, if you look at Wilson's iPad, he's downloaded games of quarterbacks, and they'll send him a text like, how can I do what Breeze did? Or how can I do what Jameis Winston did? What can I learn?
But Beck has really made a difference with his mechanics, his strength, and his shoulder, and obviously pushing the ball down the field.
2 good throws in a row for Wilson. You know, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being the quarterback at BYU. There are expectations, there's responsibility. In fact, if you walk into their offices in Provo, they've got a painting in there with Gifford Nielsen and Robbie Bosco and Ty Detmer. If you're a quarterback at Brigham Young, there are some serious expectations from the fan base, and it takes a special guy to play that position.
What effort.
Great effort. That'll be enough for the first down ahead of the 38-yard line.
Is this the time we should talk about the 10-hour drives that BYU fans are sick of hearing about?
Probably.
To John Beck. COVID helped Zach Wilson. You know, a lot of quarterbacks would go to the beach, go on vacations, or stay at home and get lazy. Not Zach Wilson. He got better during this offseason.
Throws to the right sideline. That's Romney. And Wilson on this drive appears to get into a bit of a rhythm now. Milne and Romney back-to-back receptions.
So there's two favorite targets on the outside. In fact, they all lived together at one point. Zach still does live with Dax, but that continuity
Welcome those of you on ESPN2 to Conway, South Carolina. BYU undefeated, 9-0. Coastal Carolina unbeaten as well. It has been a tremendous game, and now we have Zach Wilson and BYU on the move ahead of the 41-yard line. Wilson lets it go, and he's got his man again on the left sideline. The Cougars on the move as Milne goes down the sideline. Touchdown, Brigham Young. That is an answer for BYU and Zach Wilson.
How does Milne stay in bounds? It's wide open. I think he might have stepped out right there, Billy, but what a toe tap down the sideline, and Coastal's got to not give up on that play.
They'll review it. He actually looks back over his left shoulder like, I haven't heard a whistle.
Right there, I think he might have stepped out, Bill. But what a throw. That's a far throw for Zach Wilson to make.
41-yard touchdown if it stands, and it appears that it will.
See, right there. Does the heel go out of bounds? That's the question. No, it didn't. Wow.
And just like that, BYU retakes the lead. Dax looked over his left shoulder. He's like, I haven't heard a whistle. I must still be in bounds. And he tiptoes down the sideline. And the young man from South Jordan, Utah, late in this first half, puts BYU back on top. Zach's got a great story. You know, his mom battled cancer, and during this V week, there are so many inspirational stories out there, but none more so than Dax Milne and his mom. We ask you that you please support cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. I know Jill's excited about that as well. She taught her son how to tiptoe down the left sideline, too. That's a big play and a great answer for BYU after
that kick can roll now. I talked to a couple NFL people today about these two receivers, Gunnar Romney and Dax Milne, and they said those two guys will be NFL prospects. And Dax is a great story. Like, he comes from a high school that was primarily a running football team, so he wasn't getting a lot of looks coming out of Bingham. So he walks on here at BYU. Kind of has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, just like Zach Wilson, who didn't have a lot of offers coming out of high school. And they've all kind of developed together here in this third season with BYU. The drives are interesting, though, Bill. 17-play drive, 11-play drive. They've owned the time of possession. If you're just joining us, a lot of people thought that BYU would push this offensive line of Coastal around. That has been the exact opposite. The Mighty Mites, they call them, up front. They're undersized, but they're physical. They're playing great football early in this first half.
The big surprise thus far is how well Coastal Carolina has been able to run the football against the BYU team that gives up under 100 yards a game on the ground. The good news for Coastal Carolina is that Grayson McCall, who was banged up near the goal line on their last possession, is back in.
It's 3rd and goal, dives for the end zone. Gets banged up. They bring Fred Payton in the game. They go for it on 4th and goal and get the touchdown.
Ryan tells us that officially what they're saying is he just had the wind knocked out of him, but he did miss one play. 2 timeouts left for the young man from suburban Charlotte. Flag is thrown, and he misfires on this pass to C.J. Marable with 1:05 to go here in the opening half. The difference in the game, a missed extra point on Coastal's first touchdown. That's why BYU's lead is 1.
Holding. Offense. Number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Now, speaking of holding, there was a hold on BYU that negated a 95-yard touchdown, a 90-yard touchdown. It was a huge penalty early in the game, and obviously this thing could be 21-13 right now.
They call the penalty on Loper, the holding penalty. It'll be second and long. Now remember, Dustin, BYU has 2 timeouts left, 2 here with 1:05 to go.
This is where McCall can run.
Marable backpedals his way for 4 more. He gets ahead of the 27-yard line. And BYU will use the timeout here with 56 seconds left. That's their second, so they'll have 1 remaining.
Timeout. BYU. Their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
It's been really interesting to watch these two teams that didn't know they were going to play this game until Thursday. It's the first time 2 9-0 teams are meeting in the regular season or conference championship game since 2009. And it features 2 amazing quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, who's first in all of college football with 34 touchdowns responsible for. Grayson McCall, the freshman from just outside of Charlotte, who's thrown for 20 scores and just has 1 interception. BYU's hoping to impress the committee. I know the playoff committee is watching right now.
Well, I think if you're on the committee, you're watching this game, you feel good about your rankings. I mean, these teams are kind of going toe-to-toe right now. Obviously, there's a lot of people that feel BYU should be a little bit higher. But how about this? Maybe Coastal should be a little bit higher. Maybe there's a little disrespect for the Chanticleers.
Coastal wants to win tonight. They would love to be the highest ranked group of 5 team at the end of the season. And if they are, that's an automatic New Year's 6 bowl. Third down now for McCall.
It was a big run by Marable on second down. It gives you a chance here on third down to continue the drive.
BYU will rush 3 and drop 8. McCall under a rush. And he's going to be brought down. That'll be a sack back on the 28-yard line. And the BYU coaching staff quickly calls timeout once more with 49 seconds left.
Great coverage in the back
end. 30-second timeout.
They go man on the outside, both sides, and they just lock him down. It's man free, nowhere for the football to go. And McCall, I kind of think it was smart to take the sack. You know why? He forced BYU to take a timeout. If he throws that ball away, the clock stops. So with, 49 seconds to go in the first half, BYU has 0 timeouts.
McCall and head coach Jamie Chadwell talk it over, so BYU's going to get the ball back here in the final minute, leading by 1 here at Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. It has been an amazing season, an incredible week, and a spectacular day for these fans and for this program. Hosting college football game day, having the chance to play BYU on their home teal turf.
We talked with Jamie Chadwell, head coach at Coastal, yesterday about this. He said, look, no matter what happens, this is big for this program. The amount of exposure, the amount of fun they're having this season, it's just been tremendous for everybody involved here in Conway.
Here's the punt, and what a punt that is. All the way back inside the 20-yard line. And BYU will take over with 38 seconds to play.
With this quarterback, that's an eternity. There's no doubt that Kalani Sitake is going to try to go get some points here.
Well, what do? You've got the lead.
You want points?
You want points? Let's go.
Your kicker's 10 for 10 on field goals this year. Go get 40 yards. This is what Zach Wilson loves. I mean, he watches Rodgers and Mahomes work in these 2-minute situations. He knows what to do.
From the 30-yard line. A little bit of a pump fake. Everyone's covered, and he dropped the ball.
He just dropped out of his hands. Well, now that changes things, Bill.
I'll take the 1-point lead at halftime, buddy boy. Maybe not. Let's see. May spike it. Yes, and that'll stop the clock. 22 seconds left. Yeah, the disastrous thing there would be if he doesn't recover this fumble.
It hits off his knee as he's running. He's trying to throw on the move. The teal turf distracted him a little bit there. But they still want to try to take a shot here on 3rd and 15.
Third down back on the 26-yard line. Wilson, the roll to the right, throws back across his body and connects. That'll be enough for the first down out to the 46-yard line to Pau. And here come the Cougars.
I got to clock it quick here. Otherwise, you're going to lose a couple seconds.
He's going to put it up once more. Throws it on a short hop, and that'll stop the clock with just 7 seconds left. This was a clutch third down throw. Rolling right, throwing back to the left.
My goodness. He talked about how he worked on his hips and be able to push that ball. That's what he wanted to add to his game. That's an NFL throw. Wow.
No timeouts left, 7 seconds. He's also worked on the deep ball. We'll see it now, right?
Well, 7 seconds. If you work the sideline, get this ball inside the 37-yard line, you may have a chance for a kick. You know, the kicker has hit a 54-yarder against Troy this year.
That's all, Roy. That was the second longest in school history. If BYU can get in striking range for Coach Satake. The missed extra point in the first quarter is the difference in this game right now. There's Jake's stats.
If you're Coastal, you want to make sure that you funnel everything inside. Okay, you don't want to allow any of these wide receivers to get out of bounds. You can give up a 40-yard throw if you have to. Clock's going to go. It's going to be game over. Not game over. It's going to be halftime, I should say. So there's no reason not to protect the sidelines here.
And your safeties are going to be playing all the way back in Charleston, South Carolina, right?
That's right.
No one's going to get behind you here.
See how he's outside here? See how he's outside there? You want to force everything back in here.
Wilson, this will be the final play of the half.
What an arm.
It's going to get to the end zone, and it's going to be intercepted on the goal line. And the return to the 40. And a sensational end to the first half.
Wow. Boy.
And we've got a scuffle on the field as well after the interception, as both benches empty here at the end of the first half in Conway.
Well, they said it's the Mormons versus the Mullets. They got the shirts going around down here in Conway. A little feisty. I think that maybe Coastal went after Wilson a little bit more after the interception. But watch the throw. Where's he throw this from? It's like 75 yards in the air.
Derek Bush makes the catch on the 1.
At the end of the play, a little more. Let's see. You got to block somebody.
You got to block. Chandler is a linebacker. Yep,
that's what they're mad about.
That's mad, yeah.
And that's why they're really mad. Can't do that. Can't do that. That's Jeffrey Gunter.
That'll all be reviewable, by the way.
Absolutely. And Billy, people come to Myrtle Beach to buy fireworks. We got fireworks at a football game, man. This has been a fun first half.
BYU leads by 1, 14-13 here at the intermission. We've had big plays on both sides and a little wrestling at the end of the first half.
Big plays, and for both these teams that are averaging 40 points a game basically. Been some defense, there's been some offense, there's been a lot of great plays on both teams.
They're talking with Gunter as he walks off the field. All right, that's our score. 14-13 BYU at the half. Let's go to the studio to Kevin. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. We're at halftime in Conway, South Carolina, right outside Myrtle Beach. 1-point game. 14-13. The Cougars lead at the break. Pair of undefeated teams. They are both 9-0. This has been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Has anybody come to Myrtle Beach and never not had fun? This is awesome.
What surprised you here in the first half?
I think BYU's rush defense. They come into this game giving up 88 yards per game. Today, Coastal Carolina, they ran for $171 in the first half.
Marable is a solid runner. As we look forward to this second half, how will the Cougars contain him?
Good question. Got to play tougher. Long sustained drives by Coastal, I think, is wearing out the defensive front of BYU.
Meanwhile, on the other side, every time that Coastal has taken the lead, anytime Coastal has done something well, that man has responded. BYU has come back thanks to its quarterback, Zach Wilson. Coastal will get the ball to begin the third quarter. Both teams 9-0. BYU trying to impress the playoff committee. They felt like, hey, we're not ranked high enough. We're 9-0. We are blowing people out. This is unusual for them to be in a 1-point game in the second half. Coastal,
you got to give Coastal credit here, though. I think maybe both teams will get some respect by the committee after tonight.
Biscardi will kick it off to Christensen. And here we go, third quarter from Conway. Christensen's going to get a chance to return this one from the 5-yard line. And he spins across the 25 to the 30. And a good start to the second half for the BYU Cougars. Yeah, usually now, this couple of weeks now, they've had some big leads.
They're not used to being in tight ball games. When you look at their schedule, what they played this year, the closest game was the UTSA game back in week 4. They're used to being up, 30-something points in these games. So we'll see how Zach responds here in the second half. Not a great first half from him, by the way. Had the late interception in the final play of the first half.
Early in the first quarter, and it took a while for BYU's pass protection to try to figure out how to protect the rush. That goes right through the hands of Algier, and it'll be second down and 10. And that's what Jeff Grimes, the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, has got to figure out.
I also think this may be the first time this season that Zach Wilson has faced a legitimate pass rush, where they're getting him off of his spot at times. Like that last throw right there, that was high. He had pressure.
From the 32, Wilson sprints to the right, has the first down. And he got a little shove late. Now they'll draw a hanky. Penalty on Coastal.
It was on Gunter. Jeffrey Gunter was chasing down from behind.
Gunter's the one that jumped on top of him at the end of the second quarter. Jeffrey's got to keep his poise.
I want to see this, though. I thought he just slipped because Wilson stays up. Obviously, whenever you're chasing a quarterback out of bounds on the opponent's sideline.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
Let's go back and see if there was contact. Here's Gunter, 94, chasing him down. Yep, that's the right call. And then this is at the end of the first half.
For the defense.
That's the reason we saw the scrum at the end of the first half. That was pretty egregious, I thought there, Bill.
And that moves the football ahead to the 41-yard line. They did not penalize Gunter for that at the end of the second quarter. Wilson in the air, fires to the 25-yard line. Powell with the catch. First down to the 15-yard line. Here come the Cougars. That was a laser from the right arm of Zach Wilson.
There wasn't a defender within 10 yards of Powell. Wide open, good strike, and now they go maybe a little tempo here.
Throws it again in space to Rex. Head to the 13-yard line. Isaac Rex, their freshman tight end, second-generation Cougar.
Rex is the big target right here. Big target in the red zone.
Spinning, and this time could not get away from the bear hug of Jeffrey Gunter. Those two kids are getting to know each other here tonight. Huh?
A little bit of bad blood down there between 94 and 1. You know what's funny? These two teams didn't even know they're going to play each other 3-4 days ago. Could there be maybe a little rivalry building here between Coastal and BYU? We know they're going to go out to Provo for a game in the coming years.
It's been a little chippy. 3rd and 5 now on the 13. Quarterback draw. Wilson slammed down shy of the first down. When Coastal hits you, they hit you. And again,
they're fired up. There's a lot of
some chippiness.
After the play stuff, these refs got to get control of this. It's getting real chippy. This is just a design quarterback draw. And there's a block missed up front.
And Brewer is able to just slam him down. But even when they're getting up after the tackle, they're giving Zach a little push on the way up.
Talk about that defensive front for the Chanticleers. How physical they are. They've got 3 guys. We talked about them in the open. That will have a chance to play at the next level.
Jake Olroyd, who's been perfect on the year. This will be a 29-yarder. And BYU extends its lead on the first possession of the 3rd. Well, some fireworks in Myrtle Beach, right? 17-13 BYU.
Time to find out who's in the CFP. 13 committee members will announce the 4 playoff teams during the selection show. Those playoff teams will face off in back-to-back semifinal games on New Year's Day.
These teams hoping for a chance to be in the playoff or perhaps a New Year's Six Bowl. BYU extends its lead to 17-13 in this battle of unbeatens here in Conway, South Carolina. Here's the kickoff coming back to Jones of Coastal. He called for the fair catch before the ball was kicked. Let's go to the studio once again, Kevin Connors. Thanks. Speaking of Tennessee, you know, Jamie Chadwell grew up a Tennessee Vols fan. Did you know that?
Was that a wink wink?
It was.
People aren't so happy in Rocky Top.
First down run. Marable has the run. Speaking of old Rocky Top, let's go down to Ryan McGee.
Yeah, GBO, guys. All right, so I talked to Kalani Sitake right before the start of the second half. I asked about the incident at the end of the first half, and he gave me a very eloquent answer about retaining focus and turning that into energy for the second half. And then he winked at me and said, but you know that was bullcrap, right? Yeah, Coach.
Seemed that way. 2nd and 7 from the 28-yard line for McCall. He's completed 5 of 7 passes in this game. No interceptions, but he did have a fumble in the first half. Keeps it on the option here, and he runs for the first down. What do you think what we've seen tonight out of the freshman quarterback for Coastal?
I think he's played his butt off because he's not doing a lot with the air, but you got to remember, he has to manage this offense. This is called a spread option attack with Jamie Chadwell, which means the quarterback does everything. He has to make all the decisions. It's not a complete triple option, but he has a lot of decisions to make after the ball is snapped.
And it's an offense that BYU has not seen before. They did measure to give him the first down. So for the Cougars now, they've had a full half to kind of see it. So we'll see what kind of adjustments they make on the defensive side in white.
Let's see if they can find a way to get more push with the defensive front. They're bigger than Coastal, but they're getting pushed around, which is a bit of a surprise for a lot of people kind of predicting this game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that Coastal would have a hard time running the ball tonight, but Marible's already over 100 yards.
They
fake the run. No one was open for it, and so they dump it off to Marable. And he has the reception out just across the 40-yard line.
They call this offensive line the Mighty Mites. Look at that, 5'9" in the middle, Sam Thompson. He's all of 5'8", I'm telling you. And then across the board, they're not all 315-pounders. They're 6'1". They average 6'2", 280, compared to guys on BYU that are all 6'3", 315. Big disadvantage.
But 3 seniors on that line. Marable running behind it, gets ahead to the 40 for about 2. And that'll bring up another 3rd down for Grayson McCall. And the Chanticleers back and making the play defensively for BYU.
They just grind their way to 3rd and 4 or less every time, it seems like. They get themselves in these positions where they can put the ball in the hands of Grayson McCall, and they know he's going to make a good decision.
They don't huddle, but they take their time to get the play signaled in from the sideline.
Methodical, this offense.
They line up likely the tight end on the left. Dump it off to Marable. And he's going to be brought down. That is a fantastic tackle in the open field by Peyton Wilger.
Wilger's going to be a good one. Now,
all of their all of their linebackers are really good tacklers. When we talked to the BYU staff, they talked about they all played safety in high school.
They like to recruit safeties, Kalani Sitake does,
right?
Because they feel like they're athletes, but they're still kind of big enough where they can mold them, they can add a little bit of weight, because they need their linebackers to be able to run and cover, and they ask them to do a lot in this defense.
Overson to punt it away. That's his second ugly looking punt, but he gets a nice roll. The ball is loose after it was touched by, might have been Nyberg that come up and got a hand on it.
I can't believe he was trying to field that. Very lucky for the Cougars to get that football back.
It was 36 Gunter. Yeah, it was an ugly looking punt, wasn't it?
On the field was the ball.
BYU has the ball when we come back to Conway.
BYU.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
So we're back in Conway. And I got some swag right here. And listen, this ended up being very literal tonight, did it not? And listen, the dude who invented the shirts is right here behind us in the grandstand. That's a senior at Coastal Carolina. So he and his twin brother, they decided they were going to make these things, and they made about 25, and they sold out in 10 minutes. And now they've sold almost 200. And oh, by the way, you can also get them in BYU white and blue. So no one at BYU is offended by these. They think it's awesome. And now that's actually happening in the form of fighting on the field tonight.
Was it the Catholics versus convicts?
The Notre Dame Miami game.
Yeah, I like this one. This could be building into a rivalry, man. I'm telling you, as chippy as this game has been.
Well, it's nice to see the entrepreneurial spirit of the Coastal Carolina undergraduates. Ball's on the ground. It slipped out of the hands of Algier. And the Chanticleers come away with it.
Rolling on the field was the fumble, covered by the defense.
Gunter, who's been involved in a lot of the chippiness tonight, causes the fumble, and now here comes Coastal on the 29.
Gunter is playing like a man possessed. He just beats the block of Longson, gets in there, forces the fumble, and Silas Kelly, 29, gets on the football. The shots are fired up.
Does any team and any fan base have more fun than Coastal Carolina?
It really embodies what this town is about.
It reflects Myrtle Beach in so many ways, doesn't it? From the 29-yard line, big break, first turnover of the game by BYU. Here's Marable, who's run for over 100 yards tonight, and this time he's knocked down by Tonga. right along the line of scrimmage, and Kafusi, no gain.
Important here, Billy, for Coastal to get some points. You got to take advantage of this turnover, getting the short field. We know that BYU's defense can be stingy at times, forcing you to go long drives, the length of the field. It's a great opportunity here for the shots.
From the 29 on second down, McCall. What a great fake. Runs ahead to the 23-yard line. Ooh, Zach Daw was going left.
And watch the move here.
Right there.
He puts on Daw, and then whoop, right inside with the R1. That's your cliche PlayStation comment. He's very athletic.
Another big third down for Coastal. 3rd down and 3. They send the tight end in motion to the left side. That is Isaiah Likely. And now glance to the sideline for the play call. Midway through the 3rd in this battle of unbeatens.
Well, I think if they get a couple yards here, they can start going for it on 4th down.
Marable gets dragged down. He got a yard, maybe. And it'll be 4th down. Good tackle that time by Tonga to go in there to make the play.
They're going to kick it. The offense wanted to go for it. Grayson McCall's looking to the sideline saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. But they're going to try the field goal. I personally would have tried to go for it there, Bill.
Scardy missed an extra point earlier. He's 8 of 9 on the year.
I mean,
from this distance, which will be a 40-yarder.
Just think you need touchdowns in a game like this.
And nailed it. 1-point game again. 17-16. Massimo Biscardi. His name sounds more like an Italian designer, doesn't it? But he drills the 40-yarder to bring the Chanticleers back to within 1.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
Now let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings. They're brought to you by Capital One.
Buckeyes had a nice victory without 23 players today on the road at Michigan State. I think the one that everyone cares about watching this game is those guys, the Bearcats down in Cincy. Big one coming up next weekend against Tulsa. And that has all kinds of implications for New Year's 6 and maybe playoffs.
I assure you that everyone in Conway, South Carolina is a Tulsa fan.
No question.
They need a little help to get to a New Year's 6 bowl.
Golden Hurricane.
Fair catch called for and a touchback, and BYU will get the ball back. Well, it's time now for our College Football Award Spotlight, brought to you by the Home Depot, featuring the Maxwell and Davey O'Brien Awards, and Zach Wilson is up for obviously those, and he's had just an incredible season. Look at his national rank, just about every category for QB.
But a little bit of step up in competition here tonight against Coastal. I think this could potentially be a Heisman moment for Zach Wilson as we go throughout the rest of the second half. He's going to have to make some plays with his arm because this Coastal defense has been stingy.
He gets up under center now. Again, if you haven't watched BYU, they can run out of a ton of different formations.
He's got Romney deep.
A deep ball for Romney. There's some contact. Romney goes up and nearly had it, and it's broken up. Going up against their #1 corner, to Jordan Strong, who's shaken up on the play.
Bill, I didn't think that Wilson could even get it there. What arm strength by Zach Wilson. And he finally got protection. I think they decided to do a 2-man route to take a shot at Romney, knowing he's going to have man coverage on the outside. The offensive line bows up, allow Wilson to step into that throw. Goodness, that was 65 yards in the air.
Now the fact that Jordan Strong is still down is of note. He has 5 interceptions this season, which ties him for the lead among all FBS players.
Now, if I'm Wilson, Strong's going to come out of the game here.
The backups on that side, Dusty, are both freshmen. Manny Baker and Miles Baker.
See who comes in for Jordan Strong, but I would go back right at the freshman corner. I know Romney just ran a half gasser to go try to catch that ball, but Dax Milne is in the game too, right? 16. There's Milne right here at the bottom of your screen.
They're coming with a blitz. Haven't seen a lot of that tonight. Algier the carry, and he bursts free. Ahead to the 41. That'll be enough for the first down. The safety ran right by him. That's one of the best runs of the night for the physical Tyler Algier.
Well, this guy runs with a purpose. Look at the breaking tackles. And I love how he secures the ball at the end of the run. A lot of guys don't do that, especially when you're in conflict like that. Well, that's not good. Limping off the field.
It's been a physical game. It's been a chippy game. These are really physical defenses. Two undefeated teams that are playing in a high-stakes game. It has the feel, Dustin. Doesn't it feel like a playoff game?
It does, absolutely.
Wilson gets out of there, throws on the run, but behind his intended receiver, Pau'u, and it'll be second down.
Again, look at the pressure. Wilson's not used to this, having to step up and move. It's just a four-man rush. Jackson gets off the edge, and I think that Wilson felt that coming. And sometimes, I'm not saying he's seeing ghosts right now, but when you know the opposition's getting that pressure, you know you've got to have that clock in your head to get rid of it fast. And it was just a throw that was a little bit off.
Katoa is the back in the game now. They run the option to that side. And Wilson gets a couple. Running the option to the boundary side or the short side of the field can be really tough.
Great discipline by the Shawns right there. Because when you have that speed option or triple option attack, there are responsibilities you have as a linebacker, as a defensive end. If everyone does their job, you can stop it. Right there. Impressive job by Coach Staggs and his defense.
Yeah, and that was Gunter again that made the tackle.
Gunter's playing possessed. I'm telling you, 94 on every single snap is just running like his mullet's on fire.
Third down and 8. They rush 3 and drop 8. Wilson lets it go. A sliding attempt. That's a catch and a first down to the 40-yard line. Neil Pau'u with the reception, and the Cougars convert and move the sticks.
I'll tell you, that was exactly what the Cougars needed. A big play on a third down. Does he get the catch? Yes, he does.
They go fast. Wilson to the air once again. Throws it short, this time to Milne. And they got a couple of yards out of that. It'll be second down and 8 as he connects with his roommate, Dax Milne.
Gain of 2, second and 8.
There's Coach Chad Staggs, the defensive coordinator here at Coastal. They've got the Black Swarm defense. That's what they've nicknamed them. And to be the Black Swarm, to earn the right to wear the all-black jerseys, you've got to run to the football.
On second down, Wilson trouble, and he's sacked all the way back on the 46-yard line. They swarmed on that play. Coastal Carolina getting after Zach Wilson. Beasley came through that time.
Bush gets the sack. Be a corner blitz off the outside. And Wilson just, there's nothing he can do. He has to go down. Now a big third down for BYU and Staggs. There he is, getting his guys lined up. He knows they're trying to go quick. And the Jordan Strong, the corner who just went down with injury, he's back in the game. Here's Strong right here, back.
There's 5,000 here, but it sounds like 55,000. And a timeout taken.
Timeout.
So
BYU, their first of the half.
this morning,
Second timeout.
Chad Staggs wakes up. He's thinking everything's good. We got college game day. Gonna go to work. Going to coach my defense against a potent BYU offense. The sun wakes up at about, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 6:30. And he says, Mom, I'm not feeling too good. There's Jack Staggs. Has to go to the hospital this morning, by the way. had a kidney stone this morning. Tons of pain. They thought it was an appendicitis.
Right.
So he's trying to focus on the game, right? Game plan. Getting texts from his wife and Kelly, of course, and here they are.
Fortunately, he's okay.
He's fine. He's out of the hospital, and Chad Staggs is now can just focus on this game.
After preparing for 2 different offenses this week, right?
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he was thought Malik Willis of Liberty. Right?
A heck of a story.
A very incredible offense from Liberty, but totally different than what BYU does.
Look at his energy on the sidelines.
And Thursday and Friday, Coach had to prepare for one of the most prolific passing teams in this quarterback, Zach Wilson. They set up a little screen to the left, and the defense is there again. Coastal Carolina is so impressive. Romney chopped down, and that'll force a Cougar punt. Ryan Rico back in to punt the ball away. We'll be staying on ESPNU the rest of the night in this thriller. Both teams 9-0. It's a 1-point game late in the third. Nicely done. Rico nails it to the 14.
You think game day made the right call coming to Conway?
Well, who would have thought that the eyes of the college football world on December 5th would be Conway, South Carolina?
Nobody.
This team in teal was picked last in the preseason in their division in the Sun Belt East. They were picked last.
By the way, every panelist on game day picked BYU to win today.
Except one.
Who would that be?
That would be the Masters champ.
That's right.
Dustin Johnson, a proud Chanticleer. Down by 1 with 2:41 to go in the third for Grayson McCall.
Now this is where the Chanticleer offense wants a long drive.
First down, Marable. Turns the corner, Marable gets knocked out of bounds. There's something, they got 3 seniors on the right side of that offensive line, and they're getting it done on the edge.
That's the edge blocks. And then the speed from Marable. Talk about his size. He's about 205, 6 foot, but he's got 4.4 speed. Legit 4.4 speed. He's a track guy in high school.
12-yard run. He's up to 115 yards rushing now tonight. McCall going to put it up, and he's got his man. Oh, and it's dropped on the right sideline. He delivered that one beautifully, but it's incomplete. Hiley will make that catch. 10 out of 10. Couldn't hold that one.
Well, Hiley was wide open right in that little hole in the zone. Look at this right here. He's got to make this catch. Clearly, he either lost it in the lights or he felt the safety coming over. But that's a catch that Hiley makes 10 times out of 10.
Hit him in the shoulder pad. 2nd down and 10. They say nothing rattles Grayson McCall. They said even if he makes a bad pass or if there's a drop, he comes back on the next play. Let's see what he does now. That's complete. That time to the tight end lightly. Enough for the first down. He's so accurate.
He is. Just to your point, Bill, when he does make a mistake, coaches don't go talk to him. Because he knows he makes the mistake before the coaches even have a chance to talk to him. They give him 1 to 2 minutes on the sidelines to clear his head before he picks up the phone and talks to the staff upstairs. So poised, so calm. How about that throw right there to Likely on the move?
It wasn't that long ago. He was quarterback in the Ponder Ridge Pirates High School. And now he's in a primetime game in December, undefeated against BYU's defense. Big hole up the middle, and Marable gets to the 49-yard line. Give him the 50. Again, this is a defense that was among the best in the country in the top 10 against the run.
Watch this offensive line. They do a great job of pulling. You saw Thompson right there, 51 pull again. And I feel like they're really wearing down this BYU defensive line. I'm sure they're a little gassed from the cross-country flight, 2,200 miles. I don't think they expected this tonight.
Option again with the right hand. The pitch to Marable. Makes one man miss and gets ahead.
You know what they do, Bill? They can really wear on a defense. They'll work the middle, and they'll hit you with a little option on the outside. They'll do a little bubble screen. They'll do the RPO, try to hit the tight end over the middle. What they're doing, I think it's confusing BYU. They're being so multiple with this offense.
Well,
that's the hard part.
David Pollack on Game Today was talking about we're going to see more teams do this going forward.
Absolutely.
Right? Jamie Chadwell has shown it's not the triple option, it's the RPO out of the option. Marable started left, goes right. McCall's going to try to throw a block for him, which he does. And he almost got the first down.
He might have. It's close.
Unselfish play by
Some have
Grayson
said,
McCall.
Jamie Chadwell may be a little older version of Lincoln Riley with the way he runs this offense and confuses defenses, schemes up defenses. What a game. I don't think anybody expected it to be a one-point game going to the fourth quarter. The shots are in it. The fans are in it from Myrtle.
Well, it wasn't until Thursday that these two teams knew they'd be playing each other, and they have given us a treat, and so has Grayson McCall, the leader as a freshman of this Coastal Carolina team. What a treat for America tonight. A game that we had no idea would be played. What is on the line? Maybe a New Year's Six bowl or even more.
At this point, as chippy as this game has been, I think a little bit of pride for both these teams because this has gone back and forth. A lot of big hits.
Fourth quarter begins with a big third down play for Coastal. And that's enough for the first down. Ahead to the 38-yard line.
This is what Coastal does. They're going to try and wear you out. They're fine with taking 3-4 yards a carry. All they want to do is be in 3rd and 4 or less. This is a team that's near the tops of the FBS in third down conversions. They're 55%. The reason that's the case is because it's 3rd and short. They stay on above the chains, I should say, all the time. They're fantastic.
The key to converting third downs is getting a good gain on first down. They're very rarely behind the sticks. McCall to the air, and it's batted down right at the line of scrimmage by Tonga.
Now Tonga, I'm told by the staff of BYU, can take a game over when he wants to. 6'4", 321. Look at the vertical. That's a big man getting up. Getting that paw on that throw. Bringing up a 2nd and 10. Talk about staying ahead of the sticks. Okay, so now it's 2nd and 10 for Grayson McCall and company. Remember the close game that Coastal played against App State a few weeks back. BYU's not used to playing in close games.
Quarterback draw on 2nd down. McCall makes a man miss and gets ahead to the 31-yard line. A 7-yard pickup.
So where are we at now, Bill? 3rd and 3? That's what,
just what they want.
They live in 3rd and 3.
There you see the average distance on 3rd down tonight, 4.4. This is an interesting play call. It's right on the edge of field goal range for Biscardi.
They got the big back, Reese White in number 2. He's the guy that scored the touchdown earlier at the goal line.
There goes Likely in motion. White the handoff. He's got the first down. Another 3rd down conversion here in Teal Nation for Coastal Carolina. Peyton Wilger brought down White.
Sam Thompson's going to pull, right? And when he pulls, there's a void that opens up right in the middle of the line. And White just sees it and cuts right back to the place, kind of replaces Thompson, and they pick up the first down.
Coastal's now rushed for 241 yards. You can see they're having an above-average game against a team that, coming in, was allowing less than 90 yards a game on the ground. From the 24.
Oh my gosh, Tonga was in there for 2 seconds.
Missed them. Tonga missed somehow. Marable was able to evade Tonga. Was he unblocked? How did Tonga get through there that fast, Dusty?
95.
He almost took the hand off.
Unblocked.
Whoop.
He's got his head down when he was kind of coming. I think he expected contact, and because his head was down, he couldn't see where he was going. He kind of trips over himself and misses the tackle. He was unblocked. Wow.
From the 22, they are now in field goal range, trailing by a point. McCall to throw it once again. Look at the protection. Throws it short. Nice crossing route. Brown. First down and goal.
This is a great catch by Cameron Brown because this is not an easy throw. He's coming across the formation. Watch McCall just scans the field and catching the football with your hands. Look at this. If he doesn't catch that ball, that's intercepted by Kafusi. Great effort getting it to the goal line.
First and goal from the 2 as Coastal Carolina looks to take the lead.
This is Marable time.
He's got the ball. He's got the touchdown. And the Chanticleers retake the lead.
This. He walks in the end zone. Nearly every play, they're pulling Sam Thompson, their center. He's going to need some Epsom salts tonight. He can roll. Talk about him being undersized, 5'8", 5'9", 290. Very athletic. I think they're going to go for 2 here, Bill, to try to make it a 7-point game.
They're going to have to take a timeout first.
Which that's a big timeout.
It is, especially in a one-score game early in the 4th.
You never know when you need those down the stretch. That's goodness.
Jamie Chadwell has his team in the lead. They'll go for 2 on the other side of the break. Well, the Chanticleer is a cunning rooster that uses its brain to win. The football team is using its might up front. They've rushed tonight for over 245 yards, and they go for the 2-point conversion now. Coastal Carolina looking to go up by 7. They're going to send both tight ends on the right.
I love how Sam Thompson called that out, the center.
There goes the handoff and nothing doing up front. So the Cougars hold, and it remains 22-17. But it was another 87-yard drive. Let's go down to the field once again to Ryan McGee.
Yeah, guys, a lot of talk going into this game about the mismatch up front in the trenches. And the reality is Coastal Carolina has held their own, if not won that battle all night. And Jamie Chadwell's an East Tennessee guy, and one of his heroes was Johnny Majors, a hero of mine. We lost Coach Majors earlier this year. Well, Coach Majors was 5'0", weighed 120 nothing, and almost won the Heisman Trophy. And he always preached about leverage. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to be big. You just have to know where to be and where to hit the other guy. And that's what this coaching staff at Coastal Carolina on both sides of the ball have preached to their lines with only a couple of days to prepare for this team, which is just know where to be, know where to push, and it doesn't matter how big the other guy is. And so far, boys, that's working out.
Jamie's dad managed a Holiday Inn about 30 miles from Knoxville growing up. That's where the Kentucky Wildcats used to stay when they played the Vols. In fact, Jamie said, I took my first date to the 1992 Tennessee-Alabama game. Not a good day for the Vols.
You think the Volunteers are paying attention to this game, Bill?
I think there are a couple of people paying attention in the SEC for sure. Jamie's an SEC fan growing up. Here's the kickoff, and Christensen gets a good return across the 35 ahead to the 37-yard line, and that is the spark that BYU needed. You know, one thing that we've seen tonight, Dusty, is they've been really physical with Wilson, haven't they?
They have, and I think this is why Wilson's been a little bit off. This is after an interception. This is probably a little too far by Gunter at the end of the first half, but he remembers that. Then late hit out of bounds. That gets flagged, of course. But again, the pressure is getting home. Moves him off his spot right there, has to throw off his front foot. Not the Zach Wilson we've seen all year.
Keep it on the ground to Algier on first down, and he gets to the 40-yard line. Coastal by 5 after missing the 2-point conversion. It has been a back-and-forth game every time, though, Dustin, that Coastal has done something. BYU has answered tonight.
They've answered the bell, and this is where Zach Wilson can kind of make his Heisman case to some degree. Big-time moment, national TV, game day, his time to shine.
Wilson connects, directs, and they'll move that to the 41-yard line. Well, we're going to see what BYU is made of tonight. The committee is watching. I mean, everyone in Provo is watching.
Yeah.
BYU fans everywhere, but really more important to those fans, what is the committee going to see out of BYU now? They're on the road at night against a ranked team.
And I don't care what anybody says, Coastal's darn good now. They've impressed me tonight. BYU they've got dudes, and Coastal's manned up.
That's a great throw, but it gets stripped away. They're calling it an incomplete pass. Who nearly had the reception, and then it got stripped by Spillum.
This is how you finish a play. Spillum is there late, he just grinds that football out. When I was at Ohio State, my coach was Mel Tucker. My secondary coach, he called that the Rice Bucket Award.
Is that right?
Strong forearms.
Reach into a bucket of rice?
When you grind, you find a quarter at the bottom. When you get the quarter, the forearm's a little tight. Put it that way.
Second down on the 46-yard line. Wilson looking to throw once again. And he flips it short over here to Jackson. He's going the wrong way.
That's a mistake.
Where's he going, young man? All the way back to the 30.
Boy, that is a big-time mistake. They call this defense the Black Swarm. You don't go backwards across the field when they're swarming. 3rd and 30 coming up for Zach Wilson.
The way Coastal Carolina has taken time off the clock, they don't want to give him the ball back with 9.5 minutes to go. But now, 3rd and 30. Wilson's going to get some of it back, hurdles the corner, and gets ahead to the 38-yard line.
Can't hurdle there. That's if you're Zach Wilson, you live to fight another down. Nothing good ever happens. And remember, he's had some issues with that shoulder. His throwing shoulder. He
tried to leap to Jordan Strong.
Comes down on that throwing shoulder. He's got to be careful. That's one thing John Beck, his quarterback coach, told him before he started this senior campaign. He says, you've got to learn to take care of your body in these situations. And right there, that's not a good decision. It's 3rd and 30. Just get off the field and hope your defense can get the ball back for you.
Fair catch at the 20 by Hiley.
How about this defense? The Black Swarm are swarming in Myrtle Beach.
ESPN College Football is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville, and in part by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
8:43 to go in the 4th quarter. This is a night that Coastal Carolina fans could have only dreamed about a few years ago. They're 8:43 away from improving to 10-0 and beating BYU in primetime after hosting game day. What is happening here? It has been the most surreal experience for these fans and for those players in black and in teal.
Billy, 2020 has been weird. We know that. This whole thing has just been This week's been wild, put it that way. And to see this finish, it's fantastic. This is what college football fans deserve.
8:43 to play. Now remember, already tonight, Coastal has had a 9.5-minute drive and an 8.5-minute drive. They're a clock-churning unit. It starts with Marable, and he gets ahead for 4.
Talk about leverage, man. These guys on Coastal, they're a little bit shorter. They don't weigh quite as much. That's where you have to get underneath taller defenders. Sam Thompson, and these guys were wrestlers in high school. Will Lampkin as well. These guys know all about leverage.
Grayson is looking up at the play clock. Under 10 on second down. Going to put it in the air. And that's incomplete, and that'll stop the clock. It'll bring up a third down. You know, this is also a big night for the Sun Belt Conference. It's been an amazing year for the Sun Belt. And it's been a huge night for this league as well.
This may be the play of the game for Coastal Carolina, Bill. You see Willie Korn, co-offensive coordinator with Newland Isaac as well. Love talking to those guys this week. What are they going to dial up here for Grayson McCall? If you're Coastal, you know you can't give the football back to Zach Wilson and company. And shifted likely up on the line of scrimmage.
And he took off too soon.
Offense, number 4, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Does that change the play call now?
Well, if you're potentially going to run something shorter or run the football there, of course. It's 3rd and 11 now.
BYU changes its defensive grouping and brings in the nickel back, George Udo.
Back up. He's likely.
He's been quiet tonight, Adam.
They're going to bail off the bottom.
3rd and long. McCall flips it over here to Brown. And he gets to the 25. So BYU's defense comes through. And they needed that and some more chippiness here.
And these guys, when this game is all said and done, they're not going to be too happy with one another. And if BYU can't find a way to win this game, that is going to be a long flight back to Provo. After flying it on such short notice here to Conway.
But their defense comes up with a stop. They needed that.
They did.
Obviously. And now they're going to get one more chance with the ball.
Remember, there's been some issues here with the punts. Coastal kind of does that rugby style. And the last return, BYU got on one that they probably shouldn't have.
BYU's going to call a timeout here with 7:06 to play. That's their second. So now BYU, Dustin, will just have one timeout remaining in this quarter.
I'm confused why you take a timeout there. Unless you think you're going to see a fake. We'll see. We'll find out on the other side.
.706 remains in this one. It has been a classic between two teams that didn't know they'd be playing each other till Thursday. Coastal Carolina's rushing game has been incredible. 248 yards, including over 100 from Marable, their starting tailback, who's run for 2 scores. The Chanticleers looking to go to 10-0, leading by 5. Coming down to the final minutes.
Sorry about that. Bill, the time of possession has been really the key to the game for Coastal Carolina.
Punt is away. And again, a short punt. And it'll die on the 42-yard line. And now for our Fansville college football update.
That was a weird game last night.
Louisiana and App State.
Is it the end of that game?
Yeah, there were some long snapping issues in Boone.
Yeah, but it's like 4th and 2. I just would have gone for it. But nonetheless, it was an interesting game to watch. And
SMU and Houston, they're just Sorry, guys. We've tried a couple times, right?
Poor Rini.
Really feel for the players on those teams. All right, let's see what BYU can do on first down. Wilson connects. Isaac Rex goes down. So as I said before, now there are a lot of eyes on BYU. This is the second time now they've had the ball trailing here late in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to come from behind on the road against a ranked team.
No doubt. And again, they took a timeout there on 4th and 6 when they were definitely going to get the ball back on a punt. I think that was a mistake too.
On the ground, a high and hard tackle, no flag, Algier to the 50.
I mentioned at the start of the game, and everyone's kind of talking about Zach, and rightfully so. He's tremendous. But this offense, it may come down to winning the game with the ground attack. And the way that Algier's running with a purpose, that may be the answer.
Howe and Milne are the receivers on the left. It's 4-down territory at this point for BYU. Nothing doing up front. The black sworn defense of Coastal Carolina brings down Tyler Algier again.
They just
Derek
run
Bush
to the football like maniacs, getting off blocks. There's the two middle linebackers, Gallagher and Kelly, both getting it. Those are the Mullet brothers, both making that play. And then there's 8 guys jumping on the pile. That is what they talk about with this black swarm defense.
And now, with the loss on the play, they're going to have to punt. Brian Rico will punt it away.
Coastal Carolina is going to be about 2 first downs away from beating BYU.
They'll start on the 12 after the fair catch called by Jones. And one more possession for Grayson McCall. And the fans here starting to sense the historic nature of this game and for this program. But McCall, the freshman from just outside of Charlotte, Indian Trail, North Carolina. He played at Porter Ridge High School. They ran a very similar offense in high school.
He didn't have a lot of offers coming out. And when Coach Chadwell started to recruit for the quarterback position, he was looking for somebody that fits his spread option. And McCall was perfect. Now it's a big-time moment for McCall to try and get the biggest win in program history.
From the 14, Marable on first down. Plows his way to the 19-yard line.
Now with BYU only having the 1 timeout remaining, as I just kind of mentioned, they're not going to run fast at all. They're going to get up to the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line is going to mash, and they're going to try to win this, run the clock out.
They've been a very methodical team all year.
How many drives tonight have been over 9 minutes?
Well, they've had 1 for 9.5, 1 for 6.5. Both went for touchdowns.
Said it earlier, methodical with the way that they confuse you with the run and pass. They got to hurry.
Keeping it on the ground again. Near the first down. Look at the pile move. The mighty offensive line of Coastal Carolina getting it done.
And not just the mighty offensive line. At the end of this play, Grayson McCall, watch, he hands this ball off.
That's Reese White.
Then he's going to come in a little bit late. Watch number 10 come in. Get a little extra push right there from Grayson McCall. He's going to come right in here from the right side, right there. Just a little bit. Let me get a little leverage on this thing. Wow. That's been that play right there. That's how the game has gone. Little things like that. 2 more first downs. This game would be over.
BYU needs a defensive stop.
Good
McCall
decision.
makes a man miss. Another first down on the ground. Grayson McCall. He's got a little zing in his zing-zang.
Wow. Right here. If He pitches that. That's going to be a fumble and a devastating play. What a decision, split-second decision to hold on to the ball and cut upfield for a big first down.
This is just the 4th year that Coastal Carolina has been an FBS team.
And by the way, I got your Big and Rich reference right there for game day.
I'm coming to your city, right?
You're coming strong, brother.
From the 39-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Noti's carrying the ball, clutching it with 2 hands like a mama holds her newborn baby. Timeout taken by BYU after the 4-yard run. That's the Cougars' last timeout, and we will step aside. 2:38 to go here in Conway. Of your Week 13 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the app. They'll have all the early break-in stories, injury updates, and more right up to kickoff. And our Week 13 Monday Night Football matchup as Josh Allen and the AFC East leading Bills taking on the 49ers. Bills-Niners Monday at 8. Here we've got 2:38 to play. And you know that somehow Zach Wilson wants to get the ball back. Can his defense get a strip? Can it get a stop?
At this point, Coastal has to take care of the football. I don't know that I'd be running much mesh triple option here.
Gain of 2 to the 45-yard line. BYU out of timeouts.
Now this is where Jamie Chadwell is going to earn his paycheck. 3rd and 8. Now you run the ball, you're going to kill another 40 seconds off the clock. But if you decide to throw and you throw an incomplete pass, you're really going to hook up BYU because they're out of timeouts. You know what I would do? I'd give Grayson McCall a chance to go outside the pocket. If it's not wide open to throw it, you either run it or you take the sack.
McCall keeping. And the Cougars get the stop. Isaiah Kafusi comes in and makes the play.
Maybe not. It's going to be 4th and 2. Do you believe in your offensive line that has dominated all game? You're going to pull them off the field with 4th and 2? You one play to win the game.
4th and 2 on your own side of the field.
I'd go for it right now. They've dominated. You're going to tell your offensive line on one, you can't get 2-yard push for one play? I guarantee you this much. Think about this. Put yourself in BYU shoes. You want them to punt. You don't want them to go for it.
I would be comfortable saying this is going to be one of the biggest calls of Jamie Chadwell's career. Do you go for it on 4th and 2 on your own side of the field?
I do.
What do we have? Just under
it's one
a minute
play.
and a half to go.
Be aggressive. Go win the game. Tell your offensive line you can win this football game. They've had push all day. What do you think?
Well, it gives the opportunity for BYU to potentially block a punt. I think I'd rather. Well, if they punt it, they can block the punt.
Even if
so, that might be the reason you would go for it.
Billy, even if they stop him, they still have 0 timeouts and would have to go 50 yards to get a touchdown. It's not the game. Like, you don't lose the game here, but you can win it.
They're going to punt.
Okay.
So the question is, with 1:03 to go, do the Cougars have a punt rush where they think they can get maybe block the punt?
They're in punt safe right now. So I would say
they keep
no.
their regular defense on the field.
I would say no. You got a Shanta clear running on late.
When Zach Wilson gets the ball back, they'll be under a minute to play. The fair catch on the 17 with 55 seconds left.
Close.
And everybody in Provo just had his or her heart beat as Nyberg bobbled it.
This is the moment, right? Heisman, that we're talking about NFL, first round pick. This is your opportunity.
55 seconds and no timeout.
82 yards in 55 seconds. Now listen, they've got the weapons on the outside between Dax Milne and Gunnar Romney. Those guys are both big play threats. And don't forget about Isaac Rex, too, the tight end who's got 8 touchdowns on the year.
Wilson on first down, gets away from the rush, throws it back to the near side, and it's caught. There is a penalty marker on the play, however. Algier came back to catch the ball. That took 12 seconds, and here is the penalty from referee Kyle Olson.
Holding, offense, number 67. Half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
Jeffrey Gunter gets it done, doesn't he?
It's on Brady Christensen right here on the left side. That's Gunter again. He holds him late in the down. We talked about Gunter 94. This dude showed up to the game. He took his pre-workout before the game, put it that way.
Zach Wilson's 91 yards away with 43 seconds left. They're going to put 2 seconds back on the clock, perhaps. They've reset it to 44 now.
These guys up front have made plays all day.
Wilson, out of his end zone, throws it away.
I don't think they were prepared for this, Bill. The pressure, the amount of swarm to the football. These guys on Coastal have not given up on a play at all. All 11 guys swarmed to the ball. It's Teron Jackson. Running out of time.
Wilson out of the end zone. It's caught for the first down at the 41-yard line. A leaping grab by Romney. Wow. The Cougars are still alive with 26 seconds left.
Romney's down. But what an effort by Romney to go up and secure the catch. He knows he's going to get hit. It's a good throw. It's a little bit behind his target, but still, look at the effort. We talked about Romney's ability to make those big plays in big moments. Now you're cooking. Now you got a chance. And we know Zach's arm. I mean, heck, if you have to take a Hail Mary at some point, he can get it there. He can throw it 75 yards in the air.
They lose a valuable receiver, however, with Romney going out. From the 42. Here comes the rush again. Wilson gets out of it, dumps it to Algier across midfield, and he steps out of bounds. That'll be enough for the first down again to the 46-yard line. All right, 15 seconds left, and clearly Wilson can reach the end zone from here.
With this amount of time, you still can work the middle of the field, but you have to throw beyond the sticks, right? Because you have to have enough time to get up there and spike the ball, and then you'll have maybe one chance at the end zone, but you got to get a first down right here on this snap. There's only probably two snaps left in the game, maybe 3.
On the 46. Wilson over the middle.
Now you got a spike.
That's Milne with 9.
Now they got to go.
And a spike with 7 seconds left.
Game of the year?
And it got put together on a whim on Thursday morning when Liberty backed out because of COVID, couldn't play. BYU said, anybody, anywhere, we'll come to Conway, South Carolina. Comes down to one final play.
This is Dax Milne right there. On the outside, that's Zach Wilson's roommate. He trusts him.
And the timeout taken by the Chanticleers.
Timeout. Coastal Carolina, their third and final of the half.
Talk about the arm
30-second
strength of Zach Wilson. This is the Hail Mary at the end of the first half. He throws this from the 35-yard line, his own 35-yard line. Look at that. So he's got the arm to get it there, no doubt.
And so now Jeff Grimes and Aaron Roderick will combine on what is our best play. And the fact that Romney's not there is potentially an issue here.
And remember, if Coastal gets home here, brings pressure, game's over. One play. No timeouts left for BYU. Here it is, Billy.
One final chance for Zach Wilson and the BYU Cougars.
Now they're gonna give you all this area up here. There's nobody covering up top. Dax Milne, he's wide open.
The throw to the right. It is caught, and he steps out of bounds, does Milne. So they will get one more. I spoke too soon. Now they've got 3 seconds left.
You got a shot to the end zone here.
Easy shot down.
There's nobody up top. They just allow him to go right past the sticks. Easy pitch and catch. It takes 6 seconds off, or 4 seconds off the clock, excuse me. So now Zach Wilson can work anywhere. And here's what you do if you're Coastal. You put every defender's heels on the goal line, and you be ready to knock it down.
Last chance for the Cougars. Milne the catch, wrestled down on the 2. Coastal wins it.
This almost reminds me of the end of that Super Bowl, Titans-Rams. Remember how close he gets? Boy, this is how close this game was fought. Bill, it stinks somebody's got to lose this game because it was well fought, back and forth, and it was physical. If you like defense, came to the right place.
They're going to look at the monitor on replay just to make sure. But Coach Sataki is already making his way to midfield to meet with Jamie Chadwell. These teams scheduled this game on Thursday, and they gave us an amazing show tonight. It came down to the last play, and there is going to be one heck of a party in Myrtle Beach tonight.
They shut the bars down at 11, though, Billy. This was so close at the end. Zach Wilson steps up. He wants to give Dax Milne, that's the target he tries to go to in these situations. It's his roommate. So close. Listen, Bill, you have to give BYU credit. They manned up and got on a plane with 4-hour notice, whatever it was. I mean, you had 60 hours to put this game together, and they didn't shy away from it. They showed up. They got the truck here, and I think what they found out is that Coastal Carolina, what they're doing here in Conway, is pretty special.
And they came all the way 2,200 miles, and they come up 2 yards short. And for Coastal Carolina, it is hard to understate how big this night, this game, and this team, what it means to what this program has done just in the last couple of years.
10-0. Coastal's going to jump now. Those CFP rankings on Tuesday night will be interesting. And I don't know how far BYU drops either, because I think what we saw is that these are two of the better teams in all of college football, not just BYU independent, but Coastal in the Sun Belt. I can't wait to watch that Sun Belt championship against Louisiana. You have a 10-1 Ragin' Cajuns coming here to Conway to face a 10-0 Chanticleers.
Let's go down to the field. Here is Ryan McGee.
All right, Coach, I said at the top of the show, this was a watermelon field 18 years ago. Tell me about what you're feeling right now.
There's no words can explain it. We heard all week that we're going to get killed. We're not big enough. We're not ready. And our guys never believe that. They're resilient. And Coastal football's here, and we're here to stay.
But the push you guys had up front the whole game, I think that caught the nation by surprise. You don't seem surprised a bit.
I'm not. Our small guys have been tested all year. Everybody takes them at their size. They took it personal, and they said, hey, Coach, run it behind us. We're going to make it happen. And we controlled the clock. That was the only shot we had to win, and we did it.
All right, this was well choreographed. What we got choreographed in the locker room later?
Hey, you need to come in there because it's going to be special.
Congratulations.
Appreciate y'all. God bless you.
Jamie Chadwell, and as the folks will tell you, Dustin, they're proud to point out they are the only undefeated team in South Carolina. They improved the 10-0. An incredible night here in Conway, South Carolina.
A lot of fun, partner. I knew we'd have a good game. I didn't know we'd have the game of the year so far in college football.
2020 has been amazing. These teams put this together on Thursday afternoon, but here tonight, teal is the color. And an emotional victory for the Chanticleers. All right, America, get your teal shirt ready. Teal Nation is here to stay. That does it for our ball game tonight here at Brooks Stadium. Final score, Coastal Carolina 22, BYU 17. For Dustin Fox, Bill Roth, good night from Conway.